On this episode of the Neo Marketing Podcast, Adapt or Die. Business in 2018 is not business as usual. Welcome to the weekly Neo Marketing Podcast, featuring one half of the Golden Goose C-Suite, Kyle Golding and Pritch, APR, PRSA Fellow. Good morning, Pritch. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kyle. How about yourself?
Fantastic. I'm fired up. I'm coming straight at everyone with this one.
We're going to blow it up again.
It's simple. Adapt or die. You can't do business the same way you've always done it. It just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, the conditions are so different. I mean, just from last year. So, yeah.
Technology, communication, everything is changing at a rapid. So there used to be a theory that every 18 months technology changed. That was when we went from 8 tracks to cassettes to CDs to VCRs, right, et cetera, right? Now, man, it feels like 18 days that we're getting something new, right?
Yeah.
Business has to understand that's not just the technology. It's not just whether you do business online. You can be a business that has nothing to do with technology, but people's communication and people's attention and everything else changes. So your marketing changes, so business has to change.
Okay.
So, and we've talked about this in the past, but I have a few examples, new examples this week that I want to bring up that we haven't done before.
Because I was going to ask you, it's easy to talk about, but help me understand how to.
Here's a great example.
Okay.
Remember in the 80s and the 90s when we had to buy game consoles.
Right. You
had to buy the before Xbox even, you had to buy the Atari and the Intellivision, and then we got the Xbox and the PlayStations. And they were $200, $300, $400, which at the time was very expensive, right? Now people pay $1,000 for a cell phone, so $400 for a game console probably doesn't sound like as much money.
Right.
But a $400 or $500 console with $50, $60 games, you had to buy individual games, you had to buy the joysticks and the adapters and all this good stuff and all that, right? All of it you had to buy and big money.
Right.
Now games are coming on iPads and phones and they're free.
Right.
Why are they free? How do they make their money? In-app purchases.
In-app purchases.
Right. And ad sales and other data that they could sell off of it, right? So the whole model is flipped. Now, there are still consoles out there and people are still buying those games, but most of them, like the PlayStations, they're streaming, so they're not even buying games. At first, they started renting them. Now they're streaming them, and typically it's a membership package. So even if it's console-based, the way you play the games and the way you own the games or have access to the games is completely different. That's a great example of that industry started in one place and now it's in a very different place. And I predict someday soon it will be in a very different place as well. I think the consoles will go away. Plus, like the consoles now are offering cable TV and internet access and messaging and things like this that aren't game related.
Well, throw in AR and you've got a whole new realm.
Exactly. So it's going to become more and more interesting. It's not going to be a console. It's going to be something you strap to your head or carry on your body. And it won't be just games. It'll be communication, right? And with communication typically comes chances for advertising or some sort of influence.
Right.
So that's one specific example. It used to be if you owned a store, whether it's retail, convenience store, etc., right? You know why convenience stores have gas, right? Because you go to get gas, but they want you to come in and pay, and then buy a pack of gum or a Coca-Cola or an Icy or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Impulse
42
buys.
cans of Pringles.
Yes. Right. Or if you have a retail shop, people come in, you offer them great customer service, you get the upsell. I came in for a t-shirt, but I got, a shirt and a jacket, right? That model is now being reflected in online sales. The idea of online sales is very antithesis to the upsell and to impulse buying, but the margins are better and the competition is different. And you could start an online retail. Heck, you could start an online business through Amazon for $5.
Right.
$10 worth of inventory, right? Where in the past you had to go sign a lease, buy inventory, put it in, merchandising, fixtures, etc. Right? It was very expensive to open retail.
Right.
Now there's a lower cost entry, but better margins. But you don't have the retail experience, and that's the trade-off. Right. So that's another example of an industry that is going through changes. And if you don't adapt, if you're going to stay brick and mortar only, and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that, that's fine if you have a great loyal following, but you may be getting your butt kicked in other areas.
Right.
And then I think another great example for this, the reason we have healthcare and other benefits associated with our jobs, right?
Right.
That started because employers were trying to attract the best employees.
Yeah.
Attract and retain your best employees. So you offered them good money, then you offered them raises, then you offered them healthcare, and then you started offering things like childcare, free lunches,
right.
and now there's
flexible schedules.
Exactly, work from home
right.
options, and there's even more interesting kind of fringe benefits now with yoga classes and nap rooms and all kinds of
professional development funding.
Yeah, exactly. Education, all kinds of ways that employers can attract and retain the best employees.
Right.
So, folks, listen. Here's the bit of advice. Here's the key for today's conversation. Do the same thing with your best customer or client. Offer them value added. Offer them what it is that they need to get in the door, or to do business with you, or to have loyalty to you. That's not a direct transaction, but it's value added. It makes the conversation better. Why do I do business with person A as opposed to person B? Person A offers all kinds of things. Maybe they give me referrals, or they give me shout outs on social media, or they do a once a month yoga class. Why not? Maybe I get invited to some of the stuff they do with their employees if I'm a great vendor or have a great working relationship with them, right?
All right, I'm following.
So change the model. Don't look at transactional business, but think about how to build audience, retain audience through value-added concepts, the same way you used to do when it's attracting and retaining your best employees.
So on that same line, let me ask you a question. I think there are a lot of companies out there offering loyalty programs, particularly online stuff. It seems to me that's becoming transactional as well.
Yes, it is, and it's very unfortunate. It sounds like on its face, great. Loyalty, yes. Reward me for my loyalty. I'm a loyal customer. We have a great working relationship, right? But then when it becomes transactional, I'll give you Starbucks is a great example. Mm-hmm. They have all these things you can do to get your points. You get a free frappe or whatever it is. But it takes $10,000 in bags of coffee to get a free, $6 drink.
Right.
And it becomes obvious they're not really trying to engage with you very fairly.
Right.
It's very obvious they're trying to shill their product. Well, now not only am I not loyal, I'm like, well, screw you.
Right.
So it has the opposite. So yes, loyalty programs make a lot of sense. It's easier to execute them now because we have phone apps and other things like that. But the focus, and this is where the UX, right, the user experience comes into play. The users, if they stop doing it or do less of it or even have a negative opinion of it, then you should reflect what the users are telling you, what your customers are telling you, not how you make your margins and how you make more sales. So the focus has to change to true rewarding loyalty and not driving new sales or upsell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If it takes you 49 years to get an upgrade to an economy plus seat on an airplane,
then what's the point?
And they're doing away with them. So they're telling me that there wasn't any value in the program.
That's right. Remember when they used to have all these blackouts on your miles and all this other stuff, and it got really complicated. Then it became a selling point for other people that were.
Garner.
Yeah, exactly. When it becomes a selling point for your competition, you've really done it wrong.
You're off track.
There you go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all of these ideas of doing business in a different way that your market and your audience demands, and it's not specifically based on economics. Now, you have to find the economics. You have to find the value prop, and you have to find the profitability, because we have always, you don't have a profit, you don't have a business. But don't start with profitability, end with profitability, and focus on the consumer and what they're asking for. And get outside the box. Think differently. Adapt or die.
Yep. Adapt or die.
There it is, folks. Hey, we have a little bit of news for you guys. So this is episode 49 of the Neo Marketing Podcast.
Hard to believe.
We're coming up in 3 more episodes on our first year here on the show. We're super excited to be doing this for you every week. But after our first year, after episode 52, which will be the end of this month, starting in August, we're going to go to biweekly. A, so we can do longer shows, and B, give you more of a chance to interact with us online, social media, etc. Ask questions that we can answer on the show.
We want to hear them.
So look for us every week this month, and bi-weekly the month after that, and so on and so on. If you have questions, you have comments, you'd like to discuss what we talked about today, hit us up on social media, however you're listening to this podcast or watching the video. Looking forward to talking to you. Good luck.
Ciao.